Today we're going to talk about my favorite double oak whiskeys. Let's do this. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about double oak whiskeys, what they mean to me, and just the ones that I found that I like. Now this list is a very random list because it's just ones that I enjoy. So their price points aren't going to be together, their ages aren't going to be together, their mash bills aren't going to be very similar. It's not a comparison per se. This is going to be more about the ones that I've had so far that I like, and what my hopes are is that when I share these with you, you'll share something back with me and say, hey man, if you really like that one, you need to try this one. Because I'm all about learning new things, and I hope that that's what I'm providing you guys is some education and enhancing your whiskey journey. So if I'm not, let me know how to better do that. But without me rambling on anymore, let's talk some double oak whiskey. So double oak whiskey is something that takes the distillery a lot more effort, a lot more money, right? Because if you're distilling and barreling something that you're going to make whiskey or bourbon out of, it's got to go into a new oak barrel, right? Well, if you're going to double oak it, it too has to go into a yet another new barrel. So that's cost. I have a huge concern for all the barrels that we're going through, and I'm not some tree hugger, right? But let's just think about replenishment of trees. And I know these companies are doing it and they're doing a great job of it, but how? At the rate of the number of barrels that go through the United States in a day, it just blows my mind. So the fact that they take the time to double oak something tells me that they really put a lot of pride into what they're doing with their whiskeys. And I think we need to consider that when we look at the price point of these whiskeys. So without that, without me continuing to ramble on about it and what it means to me, let's talk about some of the ones that are my favorite. Very first one out of Maryland is going to be Sagamore Double Oak Rye. This is one that Jeff shared with me not long ago. I didn't know about Sagamore. Jeff shared it with me and I absolutely loved it. This is a whiskey that is a blend of ryes, comes in at a medium proof. It has a really like dessert type profile to it. So it's going to be real chocolatey, caramely, maybe like some maple type background to it. Has a very good oak characteristic to it. Very good mouthfeel. I absolutely love this whiskey, but it's going to be one that I'm going to run to when I want a little bit sweeter whiskey. It's not finished. Let's don't get that confused. But let's just look at the bottle a little bit and tell you a little bit about them. So this is a 96.6 proof, which is like a perfect just sipping whiskey in my opinion to warm up with, because I do like the higher proofs. It's a blend of straight rye whiskeys. This is batch 8 in its bottle 717. On the back it says, after aging our straight rye whiskey for 4 to 5 years in a high char new American oak barrel, our distillers transfer the aged whiskey into a toasted wave stay barrel for an additional 18 months. So we're looking at something here that's going to be about 6.5 years old, right? So let's keep that in mind when we start looking at the colors of these whiskeys. The increased surface area of the low char, medium plus toast staves imparts double oak delightful caramel, toffee, hazelnut, and toasted coconut. All right, so there you have that one. That is definitely one that I keep on the shelf. I thoroughly enjoy this bottle, and it's one that I think everybody should at least try once. They are probably going to run you $65 in the Southeast where I'm at. I do see them in Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana quite frequently. They're a little harder to find in Alabama, I believe. I haven't seen them that much, so I'm not sure where you guys are located, but if you do happen to see this Double Oak Rye by Sagamore, I think you need to try it. The next one is going to be something that I feel should be a staple on everybody's shelf if you're a fan of double oak, and that's going to be Woodford Reserve Double Oak. This thing is well put together. It has a great mouthfeel. It's a lighter sip. It has a lot of that barrel characteristic, as you would imagine, from a double oak. It does have more of a bold flavor to it, in my opinion. It's not quite as sweet as like the Sagamore. So Harry and I have done a store pick for this. They sent us 3 samples. it was very difficult to decide which one we wanted. You guys see my dog there in the background. We've got 4 dogs, so 2 Doodles and 2 Cavaliers, and that's Chance. But so like I said, we did the barrel pick at Harry's. That should be out March, April of 25. So y'all go follow Harry, Rome Liquors, follow him on Facebook, Instagram, and you'll see when he does the drop. He does some really cool ads or posts on his pages. So when that one comes out, it's going to be one you're going to want to get. Again, the price varies on these, 65 to 80 bucks. I'm thinking if you're getting it for 65, 70 bucks, you're doing pretty good. Maybe it's a lot cheaper in your area. It's definitely a staple, something that I think that you should keep on the shelf. The next one is one that you guys have heard me talk a good bit about, and it's my favorite expression from this distillery, but that's going to be Critt Cut Above Double Oak. So this one comes in at 115 proof. It's 4 years old. 4 years old. Look at the color. Like, this thing is almost motor oil dark at 4 years. So, let's talk about that a little bit. Aging in the South is a lot different than aging anywhere else. So, your South Alabama, Mississippi's, Florida's, Georgia's, your Louisiana juices, they're all going to be aged more rapidly than Tennessee and Kentucky. So don't let that age statement fool you when you're buying something out of the South. Read these labels, see where these things are distilled, and understand that a 4 to 6 year juice in the South is going to be phenomenal, and it's probably going to drink similar to a double that out of Kentucky or Tennessee. So 4 years here, 7, 8 years up there. It kind of gives you an idea. But if you're thinking Kentucky 4 years when you look at this, and you may not buy it for that, you're kind of missing out. One thing I do like about Matt and them, so they're in Kill, Mississippi, very small operation, but they put everything right here on the label for you to see. So you can see the mash bill, you can see when it was bottled, you can see the proof of it. So everything is right here. So it gives you the barrel number, it gives you that it was a 3.5 char, it tells you the mash bill is 11% barley, 17% rye, and 72% corn. It tells you that it was barreled on October of 2019 at 120 proof, and it was rebarreled November 30th of 23 at 115 proof. It tells you the cast height was a #1 char on that second barrel. It has Matt's signature on it, and it tells you when it was bottled, which was September 3rd of 2024. So Matt and them are doing some very special things where they are. This bottle is going to be very unique, as is any other craft distillery. This bottle is a more savory leather type finish for me. It's not that sweeter finish that you pick up on most whiskeys. It picks up a lot of the barrel characteristic. It has a very good finish to it, and it's one that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I love supporting Critt in all ways. Next is going to be Peerless. You can't talk Double Oak and not have Peerless in the game. So this is Peerless Double Oak. This is not their high rye version. This is 108 proof. It's batch 15. And you see everything that they got on the bottle. They tell you everything you need to know, in my opinion. And you can see the color on this one, and we'll talk about the age of it if they have it here. So distilled and bottled by Peerless Distilling. It's bourbon whiskey, twice barreled in new oak, non-chill filtered, strictly sweet mash, no water added, and it's barrel proof. The bottle's really cool because the bottle as a whole looks like a barrel. You can even see the rivets on the head there. So very cool. This is one that I have compared with some of the others, and I feel like between it and Woodford, this one takes my preference over Woodford by far. This one has more of that chocolatey, more mouthfeel. It's just a more body type sip than the Woodford. The Woodford's really light on the palate, really good flavor, medium finish. This one's got a little longer finish on it. These bottles are going to run you $85, $90 depending on where you get them, and I'm starting to see those come out more frequently as well. So the next one, you guys may be sick of hearing me talk about them, but I'm not stopping because they are doing something very special in Alabama, and that is Bigest Scambia Spirit Detley. So this is their 1867 This is their cash strength single barrel. It's 53.9% alcohol, 52 month, and look at the color. Now that's got more of a reddish hue to it because of the independent stave that Seth and them are typically using, or recently using rather. And so not all of Seth's whiskey is gonna be double oaked. He likes to say, I'm gonna give the whiskey what it needs. So he's very methodical and scientific about what he's doing with his whiskey. He keeps spreadsheets and he keeps things tallied up. He knows what days he needs to go check what barrels. He'll send his guys out and say, hey, pull me some samples from these. He'll taste them and say, okay, this is what this one needs. This is what we're gonna do it. And a lot of times that is that it needs to be double oaked. So predominantly his product is double oaked, but not always. So the next two are gonna be bottles that are a little harder to find. There again, they're not anything to be compared to one another here. They're double oak whiskeys that I like. These two are very special to me because of the flavor profiles. Very, very unique. But this one is HshO Double Oak. And this one is specifically a 10-year juice that is said to be sourced from Willet. So I have no proof of it being sourced from Willet. Don't really know. All I can tell you is this thing is special and it's delicious. So let's just talk a little bit about it. So it's 100% 10-year, 72% corn, 13% rye, 15% malted barley. That's where they're getting me because of that mouthfeel that you get from all of that malted barley, and the flavors that it imparts are just absolutely phenomenal. You're picking up like some nutty flavors. You're picking up some chocolates. You're getting some of that light tobacco flavor in there. It's got a really good mouthfeel that's just pleasant. It's 113 proof. This one was a store pick, so it was a single barrel done by Liquor Junction. And it's one that I like to keep a backup of. So I like it that much. This thing is getting, 4.4 beers for me all day long. I hate that it's harder to find. So I've been hunting all over the country. Now I haven't gotten everywhere, but I've hunted in a lot of spots looking for this bottle. I've yet to find it. So I did have to contribute to secondary for it. I don't like that. I believe secondary is a necessary evil, especially for somebody like myself. If I'm going to bring this to you, I may have to do that to bring it to you. So that's what happens. And, unfortunately, that's what I had to do for this one. On secondary, they're going to run you about $150. You're probably going to find them, I would think, $75 to $90 if you find them on a shelf somewhere in a store. And obviously the people that I'm getting these from are finding them at those prices, I would assume. So HshO is a very special drink. Wonderful. Like it, just think higher level. Like this, there again, we're talking a 10-year juice, right? Let's look at something real quick. Let's look at the color of Matt's juice and the color of this one. Just put them side by side. If I can get that in there. Put them side by side. So we're talking about a 4-year Alabama, and we're talking about a 10-year Indiana juice. So this is sourced from Indiana, right? Same thing if we want to talk about Seth's 50-month versus the HshO. I mean, look at the color similarities. This is a 10-year Indiana juice, and this is a 50-month Alabama juice. 50-month Alabama juice, 10-year Indiana juice. Look at the color differences. And I'm always talking about the first thing I'm going to do is taste a whiskey with my eyes. Second, I'm going to taste it with my nose. Lastly, I'm going to palate it and see how I like it and see if everything correlates and crosses over. And if all that's good, then that's where we're going, right? This is definitely one that checks all the boxes. But when you look at that color and you look at the color on these Alabama ones, that's what I want you to keep into consideration when you're reading labels. So last but not least, maybe one of the best whiskey makers out there, in my opinion. Now, you guys may not like them anymore because of the headaches that you had in high school and college. I mean, we all went and got it, right, to get from point A to point B. This is not your typical Old Number 7 from Tennessee. This is something very special. by the one and only Jack Daniel's, #1 whiskey seller in the world. This is the twice barreled special release rye. This is their heritage bottle. It's a 2023. This thing drinks heads and shoulders above most any rye that I've had. There again, if you guys have had something better, let me know. There's several other Jack Daniel's barrel strength, single barrel special releases that I've got. The 2020, absolute favorite Jack Daniel's that I've had ever. It'll outdrink this one all day long. But this thing is very special. It's something that I'm going to nurture. Again, I bought this from Harry at Rome Liquor, and Harry made me a good deal on it, but it was still marked up because of what he had to pay for it. He only got a couple bottles, and that's just how secondary drives the regular market and how it affects the liquor stores and the way the distributors affect liquor stores and the pricing. But Harry was very fair to me on this bottle. I'm thankful to have it, and I will definitely take my time with it when I open it. So hopefully that's helped you guys out. I'm here to help you. I enjoy whiskey. I love it. I love talking it with you guys. If you want to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's all Brutally Honest Bourbon. If you want to email me, that's brutallyhonestbourbon@gmail.com. I love talking to you guys. Hit me up. Let's talk. I have a private Facebook group. In that group, we talk nothing but whiskey. So if that's something that you would like to be in and learn from others and maybe even help educate us some, that's what we like to do in that group. I run the group. I believe that it's a very clean group. There's not any trolling in there. Nobody's disrespecting anybody because they like to drink their whiskey and Coke, or they like to put ice on their whiskey, or they like to sip it neat, or they like to drink Traveler. So you know what I mean? We're just we're real good. No, we pick at one another, but all in all, it's good fun, and I think that everybody in that group gets along real well, and I think we do a good job of educating each other and sharing our journey. So if that's something that you might be interested in, just let me know. Send me that email, but go follow that Facebook page, that Instagram page, because I'm trying to grow those followers. I use those pages to promote these brands, so to promote the Detlings and the Crittens and the 7.3s and the Distillery Cadence and the Old Dominics and such. Those are the avenues that I use, and the more people that we can share that with, the better. So go follow that page. Invite your friends list to follow that page. But overall, I hope this was educational for you and helpful. There again, it's just my preference and what I like in double oak whiskeys. And if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, I apologize. If there's something that's missing in Whiskey Tube, you guys let me know, because I want to do it for you. Until the next time, let the whiskey and friendships flow. Cheers.